Ronnie Dale, Four Wheeling Australia. Welcome to another episode of Modified, and we have a 60 series. Finally. Let's get the owner in, eh?
Hey Ronnie.
How are you, Sivan?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Finally a 60 series.
Yeah, so it's a 1989 60 series. So it's a POV pack.
So it's the last one made.
Yeah, so the last one made, yeah, thereabouts. And so it's just a POV pack, so it's got all the barn doors. We've upgraded the Sahara seats and that kind of thing too. And it's just a 4 litre 2H running an aftermarket CT26 turbo, and also just a 5-speed gearbox.
Ah.
So yeah.
Very nice. When did they stop the 4-speed?
I believe they stopped it around 1985 or so.
So even a POV pack has the 5-speed?
Yeah. So in the later models, I believe they all came out with a 5-speed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is it set up for touring?
Yeah, pretty much. So mostly just camping and touring, really. So nothing crazy 4-drive wise, but it's still pretty capable. So,
yeah, it's sitting pretty high, so we'll get to the
definitely.
lift and the tyres a bit later, but it's sitting pretty high. It looks like a beast. Well, let's get straight into the bar work, I reckon.
Yeah.
We'll start with the bar work, and it looks pretty new.
Yeah, so it's ARB Dakar bar, so it's winch compatible as well, and we've only had it on for a couple of months now, but yeah, it's been really good. We're running the Dominator X inside there from 4Drive Supercenter.
What did it have before, as in bull bar or
It
just
had
bumper?
a custom winch bar when I bought it. Did have a high mount winch, which I kind of regret selling. It was quite average and didn't have much protection to the bonnet and that kind of thing too.
All right.
So yeah.
And you were saying about the winch, it's a 12,000 pound?
Yeah, so it's a 12,000 pound Dominator X. For the money, it's been really good.
Had a chance to use it yet?
Yeah, I have used it quite a bit on myself.
An honest man.
Nothing else on others, so not yet. But yeah, it's helped me out of a couple of sticky situations.
No real need for bash plates, I can see, because you're up pretty high.
Yeah, not really. It'd be nice to have one there anyway, just to cover a bit of the front.
I think you'd be pretty unlucky though to hit something here.
Yeah, exactly. So the approach angle is pretty good.
Did you have these recovery points on?
Yeah, so they're 80 series air on board, 80 series recovery points.
And they fit on a 60?
Yep, so they bolt straight in. I think they're the same as the 100 series ones as well.
How do you feel with just having 2 bolts? Use a bridle?
I've used it before and just one, and it's been fine. Obviously a bridle's better, so yeah, I'd probably use that depending on the situation, that kind of thing.
Depending if it's a hard pull
exactly.
or a lot
if
of
it's
tension or
from
whatever.
the side or whatever, but they are rated, so.
No side steps, but you are pretty high.
Yeah. So,
However, I have seen a dent on that side.
yeah, so when I bought the car, it did have a couple of dents in the bottom panels. Tried straightening what I could, but yeah, some rock sliders would be ideal, so we're hoping to get some on in the next couple of months.
I reckon you'd probably be alright without them, but you probably need someone to step in and out of the car with.
Yeah, so yeah, extended rock sliders will be the best thing, so we can actually get into the car a bit easier.
So the grip handles inside get a bit of a workout.
Yeah, they do. Mine in the driver's side definitely does. It'd be nice to have an angled one here too for the missus. So
yeah. The rear bar. The interesting thing about this rear bar is it splices onto or bolts onto the steel factory rear step, right?
Correct. So yeah, so it's the factory rear bar on the back there, and then these were just something that I picked second hand. They bolt straight onto the top. We ended up just ripping off or grinding off the old wheel mount. So it used to be a dual wheel carrier. And then welded these together and made the jerry can holders, so it works alright, and then added all the lights and that kind of thing to it.
Are these 10 or 20 litres? There's 20 litres.
These are all 20s, yeah. So middle one's water, and then you've got the tap on the other side, so when you open it all up, you've got the water access, and then the 2 diesel jerrys too.
Nice. I've had these jerrys before, and they're actually pretty good with the
they're not
the valve
they're not
cracking
bad.
on the back.
Yeah, they're not bad. It's saves some weight going plastic than the metal ones.
Yeah, but they actually drain fast.
Yeah, they do.
As opposed
with
to the other
breathers,
ones.
Yeah. So this is just a Maxtrax wheel carrier, so it just straps around here and through the back as well. I don't know if they make them still, but they have been held up really well over the last couple of months.
Who made that? Whose brand is it?
It's actually Maxtrax.
Oh, it is?
So yeah. I don't know if they sell them anymore, but I did pick it up with like 2 in stock here in Perth.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we just got a dirty gear bag from King's here, and then a lock underneath there for the Max Tracks too.
Spare wheels.
Yeah.
They used to be underneath on this Model 60.
Yeah, correct. So we've taken all that kind of stuff out there.
Could you fit a 35 underneath?
You can't, I don't think. I've tried putting a 33 under there to see if it'll fit, and it pretty much just makes it.
Okay.
I haven't actually locked anything in there. The plan was to try pick up, because you can put auxiliary 190 litre tanks in there, which replaces the old one.
I was going to say, because you got a lot of room.
Yeah, there's
under
heaps of room. So it's either do the 190 litre diesel tank, or put another water kind of carrier in there with just a 12-volt pump.
Perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
Down low,
Perfect,
low centre
yeah.
of gravity.
Yeah. So there's, yeah, heaps of room there, as you can see, and with the body lift as well, kind of looks like there's a bit more there too. It's a 4-wheel drive Super Center roof rack. We ended up buying this for I think $200 at the time. Yeah, they're very cheap, and for the quality of them, you can't really complain either. So the biggest downside's that it's heavy. Yeah.
Okay, so how heavy is it?
Yeah, so it's all steel. I'm not too sure on the weight, but it is heavy. It will take a few people to pull it off the roof.
You go surfing, so you have your surfboards up here?
Yep, correct. So
Hence it's open both ends?
yeah, that's the whole benefit with the flat rack. So you can get the ones that cage around, but then obviously with surfboards and that kind of thing, it's a bit annoying. So surfboards and swag usually just sits up here on the big trips. And prior to the rear bar, we just had all the jerry cans and that kind of thing up here as well.
Okay, so it can hold a bit of gear then?
Yeah, it sure can. So yeah, we got the camp lights on it as well. Foxwing awning by Oztent. Had to modify the brackets here a little bit so it sits flush with the flat rack, because before it used to just mount on top.
Sat higher?
Yeah, so that's how the Foxwings come. So I've actually flipped these brackets around and used the old awning ones.
Upside down?
Yeah, to mount it on, and it's really stable. It's not going anywhere. So
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you go through drive-throughs?
I can't. Depends on the
What height
drive-through
are you
and that
sitting
kind of
at?
thing. It's actually not too high. I think it's about 2.2.
Oh, it's not too bad.
2.3 with the flat rack. So once you got stuff on, it's pretty much impossible. So I've actually knocked my surfboard a couple of times, gone through like Woolworths car parks and that kind
car
of thing.
parks,
So,
yeah, I can't get in those either.
Yeah, so I've kind of stopped doing that and stopped risking it.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
So it's not a mall crawler?
no, it's not.
Lights and communication. One UHF antenna, one radio.
I believe it's a 3 dBi. It was on there when I bought the car, but it's pretty good for hills and that kind of thing. And for what we do is just normally convoy 1 kilometre back maybe on highways and stuff like that. So
80 channel radio.
yeah, so it's an 80 channel Oricom, one of the older models, so I'm not actually too sure what it is.
Sand flag mount.
Yep, correct. So that's just a quick release there.
AM FM antenna there. That's actually pretty cool. So it's a floppy one.
Yeah, that's correct.
So rather than snapping them, oh wow, it's really floppy.
Yeah, it is a bit too flimsy.
At least you won't knock it off though.
Yeah.
Keep your tunes.
Can't really complain. So yeah, as far as lights go, we're running the 8.5-inch steadies. So they just pop off with the 2 tabs there, bit of a pull, and they pop off. So you get heaps of spread and spot from them. I have noticed a massive increase from some of the cheaper lights we were running before.
So you've had experience with cheap lights then?
Yeah, I have. I used to run some of the King's cheaper ones, and you do notice a difference of colour, temperature, and that kind of thing as well.
And distance and spread. And
yeah. So these, I think are about 850 metres range, and they do have a really good spread as well.
With your headlights, I noticed you replaced your factory inside ones.
Yep. So they were replaced when we bought the car. I'll probably be replacing them again with possibly another LED replacement, or might just go back to the originals, because what I found is with the wiring, we've had to wire it so that just the factory ones shine with full lights, otherwise they're too bright.
Okay.
So they do work really well on high beam, so you get a little bit more spread when you're just on high beams, but once the spotties come on, that kind of thing, it's pretty much useless.
So they're both on low and high beam?
Yes, so they're both a low and a high beam. So on low beam, these ones there just become way too bright, get heaps of cars flashing me and that kind of thing. So.
And then high beam, it doesn't change much?
High beam, so with these, I think it's how the voltage works, but basically
so it's got a resistor or something on it?
Yeah, it's a bit weird with the 60 series, but basically a few LEDs will be shining on low beam, and then high beam, it just has the full voltage, which obviously shines the full light. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's just a bit of a cheap eBay light.
Any plans for a light bar on the roof?
Possibly. At the moment, no, because the spotlights do pretty much everything we want it to. We don't do a whole lot of nighttime driving, but for the odd occasion when we do, this is more than
That'll be
enough.
more than enough.
Yeah.
And because they're LED, you got spread and distance
Yeah. So
in the same
yeah.
thing. Sivan, talk us through the lift.
Yeah, so when we bought the car, it had the body lift in. So as far as I've been told, it's a Superior Engineering body lift. It's a 2-inch or 50mm body lift. And then we've gone through and put Dobinson springs in the rear. So they're 300 kilo 2-inch springs with road safe extended shackles. And then at the front, we've got Petters 2-inch springs as well. So they're rated for the engine and all that kind of thing too. The extended shackles in the front as well to keep it all level. So suspension wise is sitting on about 3-inch from factory, and then the body lift on top of that will add another 2 inches.
So in terms of the body is 5 inches off the ground?
Yeah, correct. So from factory it's 5 inches above. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, plenty of clearance there for the wheels.
Plenty of clearance, all right. You'd have to go through a serious water crossing to get water over your bonnet
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
35s.
Yeah, so they're 315 75 16s, and they're the new Toyota RTs, new in Australia, I believe. So they're kind of a mix between mud terrains and all terrains.
Yeah, hybrid.
Yeah, so they've got bigger lugs, that kind of thing there. So it still will perform pretty well in the mud. Haven't really put it through mud at the moment. Lots of sand and dirt driving so far, and found them handling a lot better than my old worn out mud terrain open countries. So
How's the noise factor?
none at all. So yeah, I don't know if you've driven much with the Toyos, but the MT models didn't really have much noise on mine.
Got a bit noisy on mine, but
yeah,
not, I mean, you're expecting that from a muddy anyway.
Of course, yeah. No, there's absolutely no noise on here. I say that there are a couple of noises going on when you're driving the old cars.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you definitely can't hear anything.
And new cars.
And the new cars, yeah. So we've got Neg 44 sunrays. That basically suits the factory flares. And yeah, clears all the steering components and all that kind of thing. So before, on the 33s that I had previous to this, we were running Neg 22s, and on full lock you'd kind of rub the inside of the steering, and we had quite a bit of worn out stuff in there.
Okay, so you'd just be touching?
Yeah.
With a negative 20?
With a Neg 22 you pretty much touch on full lock, or you do touch on full lock. With these you don't touch at all. And with the lift that we're currently sitting on, we don't get any scrubbing whatsoever unless we go full flex. We do have a tiny bit of rub on the inside guard.
On the back or?
On the backs only, yeah.
Right.
The front I haven't noticed anything. We do have it all cut out in there for extra airflow and that kind of thing.
If people want to know how much lift they need to run 35s,
yeah.
What would you need?
You do, I believe, I haven't actually experienced it without the body lift, but you will need 3-inch. So, and that should clear everything with steering and all that. With flex and that kind of thing, you will get some
Still rubbing on the back.
Yeah, but with the body lift, we've found there's been absolutely no rubbing, so I've been really happy with that.
Since you put negative 44s on, you went from negative 22 to negative 44. Are you noticing the car's more stable?
It's definitely a lot better. Like, I would say there's absolutely no negatives to it. Even with the 35s, made absolutely no difference to the 33s before that. Still as wide and that kind of thing.
So no negatives apart from the extra 22 negative.
There you go.
Yeah, don't worry. Engine bay, talk us through, mate.
Right, so it's not that pretty, but we've got aftermarket turbo. So it's a CT26, which is off the 80 series, as well as the 12HT, which are both LandCruiser engines. And it's got a very cheap, nasty eBay intercooler at the moment, so just a top mount. Ideally, would be wanting to go a big front mount or just a bigger top mount intercooler. That'll help keep all the temperatures down, that kind of thing.
Would you go front mount, or would you go, hence you have the scoop already?
The idea was to put a front mount in and then just cut that bigger, and then I'll just have engine cooling. Because the bonnet scoop still looks good. The hole's there, so I can't really do much about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd want to do, is front mount will be a lot better. Help keep everything a little bit cooler. In the engine bay, nothing else is really going on. We've got an oil catch can there, which is quite recently put in, so I haven't had to really drain it yet. And then, yeah, standard dual batteries, so there's heaps of room for them here.
So you've yet to drain it then?
I haven't had to drain it yet, so
okay.
Yeah, it hasn't been in there for that long. And then we've got fuse box here for most of all the lights and stuff, and all the stuff running in the back, and then that fuse box on the other side there, which is for a couple of little accessories in cab and out the back as well.
Is there a compressor or anything in the engine bay?
No, there's one in the rear.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's amazing how big the older motors are, aren't they?
Yeah, quite large. But yeah, there's still quite a bit of room here.
There's heaps of room still.
So everything's sitting quite low, heaps of room on the top here for a bigger top mount intercooler as well.
I see a factory.
Yeah, so those are
here?
Yeah, those are diff breathers. We've got the other one on this side here. Very cheap job, but obviously it can save you.
This is your winch oscillator back on your main battery.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bit dodgy, but it still works. So
I'd just recommend keeping this greased up with some contact cleaner or inox or something. I've seen them go in the past.
Yeah, they're not the best, so yeah, I'll probably end up switching that to just a standard master switch. So
yeah, like a
big one that you can Yeah, so the factory airbox. A lot of 60 series owners who are going to run bigger boosts and that kind of thing will actually upgrade to the VDJ airbox because it gets a lot more air in it.
Okay.
But these ones here, I've had no problems going through Carragini and that kind of thing. The filter's always been quite clean, so.
Let's check out the rear of the vehicle.
Yeah, sure thing. So they just slide straight open. Because of the barn doors, I just push them all the way out.
Okay.
Which is actually quite handy.
These barn doors are cut right in the middle. I'm not used to seeing that.
A bit strange, and also the handle, like you say, on most 76s are usually
normally there.
But on the 60s, they're on the inside, which is a bit annoying. Still does the job. So yeah, that's the rear there.
Take us through.
So, where do you want to start?
Let's start from the bottom, eh?
Yeah, so jaws, so left-hand side here, we've got all the tools and stuff like that. Pretty much everything from recovery gear, tools, got some auto sparky stuff in the bottom here. And all these bags come from a bloke here in Perth called Grab Me Gear. If you've heard
yeah, I know Jimmy.
Yeah, so Jimmy helped us out with those. Bit more stuff underneath, but quite a lot you can fit in these things. So that's pretty much all the recovery stuff and tools. Moving on to the second drawer, it's all camping. So that's the setup there. I used this from IKEA for all the cutlery and all that kind of stuff. So I usually just chuck that on the side, and I just used an old milk crate that we just cut in half and kind of double laid it all.
Oh yeah.
So you can fit a lot more stuff in it. We've got the barbecue, shower, plates and stuff like that at the back there for the barbecue, the hammock, all the bowls and stuff at the side. And then we've got some more pots and pans, torches, hatchets, all the little bits that you'd use for camping there. Straps and stuff sit there. Got my trusty paper towel holder that just clips onto the side of the door. That's a very handy thing to use, and not many people have them.
A suction cup.
Yeah, so basically that just works like this. You put it onto the open mode, so just like that, stays on. Very easy to use, and yeah, comes straight off.
Where do you get those from?
You can buy them from BCF. So,
oh really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think they're about $10 or so they're quite cheap. Then we just got oil, mosquito repellent, which is another great little buy.
Mosquito repellent?
Yeah, they work really well, surprisingly.
I have never seen these before.
So that's the brand there. So they've just got the little refill packs at the top there that you slide out, so they turn white when they're completely done. They last about 4 hours. It's quite cheap to buy the refills for them too. From the wings as well, on this side here, I've got pretty much any spare stuff goes in here. So these are just the Titan drawers that come out of the 80 series. From 4-wheel drive super center as well, so they bolt straight in. You just have to push the wheel wells out a little bit. So I've got spare coolant, spare oils, bottle jack, tow ball if I need to tow anything, then a couple of rags and that kind of thing in there, some bug wipes, and got the lights there. So I've got some LED strips that are sitting underneath the Foxwing awning, so they just all triggered on the same thing, as well as the camp lights behind it for a little bit more distance. You've got the back switches there, which powers the back camp lights, and then so on and so on. So they just on and off with a switch. You've got the voltmeter there as well. There's a little voltmeter reading in the middle of the USB sockets, and then yeah, that's just for charging power banks and that kind of thing.
Very nice.
So yeah, that's pretty much it with the one.
And this other wing on this side, has that got your compressor in it?
Yeah, so that's just got a compressor in it, and then I've got the tube and that kind of thing in there that plugs straight in.
Valve here.
That's all plumbed up to the front, so there's a switch on the front that controls the relay, and then if you want to control it on and off in the back here, you can as well.
Fire extinguisher?
Yep.
In a good spot?
Alright spot.
Yeah, easy to get to?
Yeah.
These shades in here?
They're the biggest question I get asked. So they're made by Solar Screen, company here in Australia that does them. They do make a big difference. The fridge will definitely draw less power with them on than without, and hence why I don't have a fridge cover or anything like that. So yeah, and it obviously keeps it all dark and that kind of thing, sunlight off, everything.
Are they custom made, or they do them to the size of like the 60 and the 80s and the 100s?
They do them all for, they've got a range of different vehicles, so they make them all custom fitted for each vehicle. Fridge, I'm running a Waco CFX 50 litre, the Wi-Fi version, and then we've got this Dun & Watson tilt drop down slide. So
Wi-Fi version?
Yeah, so the Wi-Fi version's on them as well, so you can control with your phone and that kind of thing too.
So you can see the temperature, you can change the temperature?
Yeah, you can change the temperature, you can see what voltage is going through the fridge and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
So it's quite handy to extra monitoring.
And the drop, what is it?
So it's by Dun & Watson. They do a lot of trailer stuff, and they actually have quite a few interesting things on their website, so you can always check on there. It's basically just a fridge slide that tilts. Do you want me to run you through it?
Yeah, a look.
So that just pops out there.
Haven't seen it before.
Yeah, it pulls straight out, and then with the gas struts, you just lean straight down.
See, I like that idea.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the drop-down fridge slides, and once you open the fridge up there, everything's accessible. So it's nice and easy. Don't have a whole lot in there at the moment. Yeah, very simple, and then push it straight back up.
I like that idea. Yeah. Do you find you have to stack it slightly different?
All the stuff that you'd usually put at the front, like being so high, I can't even touch that right now. You definitely just stack it a bit different. So
cool.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the vehicle is sitting on some rocks here, so it has an extra 6-inch lift here. Table on the side.
Yeah, so this is just held in by a little elastic thing there. Got a couple of nifty bits in there, so and it all pops out. Got an extra chopping board that I just store in there. So this is just held together with some cable. Chopping board usually sits somewhere there, and now this is just a light switch that I used to hang from up the top.
In another grab me gear bag by Jimmy.
Yeah. A bungee strap I usually put there if it's quite windy, so I'll just strap it like this and around the barn door onto the jerry can holder.
Oh, so it doesn't blow the door in?
That just helps, to stop the door from blowing in, and then that also acts as a thing that I can just clip that on. So when you're cooking and all that, you've got perfect light right above you.
What do you keep in the bucket there? Is that a thing you normally bring?
That's just for surfing stuff, so I've got wetsuits and all that kind of stuff in there. It's usually what I keep with me because it's got a couple of like sunscreen and hats and all sorts of little bits in there.
What's that thing behind it?
I've got the swag in there, just a single swag. Very odd occasion I take a single swag.
That rolls up pretty tight, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty good. And then we've got the fold up solar panel here as well. So that's just a 160 watt panel, I believe. Pretty much charges the batteries up completely.
Do you normally stick it on your roof rack?
I normally throw it straight on the roof, or depending where the sun's going, maybe the windscreen as well.
Okay.
So it keeps the sun out the cabin.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, lucky there's a handle here. Oh. How tall is your missus?
Shorter than you, shorter than me.
Wow.
So
how did she obviously hold on to this getting in then?
Definitely.
All right. Yeah, you forget how spacious these 60s are, don't you?
Not too bad at all with the dash. So, yeah.
You forget how big the steering wheels are too.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I like how the shades...
darkens everything.
The first thing I'm noticing in here is your fridge.
Yeah. So it's just a Waco thermoelectric. I think it's an 8 litre. We just made some very basic brackets for it. And
Is it a fridge or is it just...
It's a thermoelectric.
So it does
20
to ambient up or down?
Basically, yeah. So it works alright. I haven't hardwired it in, so the plug just sits there. If we want to use it, we can, but mostly it's just a center console and a drink holder.
Can these heat as well?
Yeah, they can warm up, so you can keep pies warm or whatever.
So on a 40-degree heat day, you can have a 60-degree pie.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, run us through.
So, where should we start? Got boost. So we got temperature gauge on this side here. Yeah, so that's just water temp there, and then just one of these little eBay gauge holders. So that's just holding the boost and
exhaust temp.
Yeah, exhaust temp. Yeah, very basic. You do need to be very wary of exhaust temps in these 2Hs though, because you don't obviously want to get it too hot, so you crack a head.
What water temp do you get up to when it gets hot?
It can get quite hot, so we're running through some stuff to make it a bit cooler.
Are we talking triple figures?
No. So I've never run it to 100 degrees, but
okay.
It is like if you put an aircon on and it's a hot day running 100, 110, then it can get to 95 degrees. I have seen as high as 99 degrees and then
That's
slow
not
down.
Too bad, though.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but definitely can do something about it. Running through some stuff to fix all that. So bigger fan to suck some more air out. Should do. And
your EGTs?
Yeah, so EGTs, these are all pre-turbo. So it's a little bit higher than what most people would think. But yeah, 550 is probably the max of where we'd push it to. So up hills and stuff, it can creep up to there, but mostly it's pretty well tuned for keep to 450-ish. So yeah, it's all pre-turbo. So
driving around town, just cruising?
Cruising is probably about 350. 80 channel UHF there, so that's just mounted under there. Pretty easy access. Front E-locker, so it's a Harrop E-locker underneath.
You have a locker?
Yes. So it's just a front one. Might move into a rear locker as well. So we got winch in, winch out switch there. Yeah, so we do have a winch control in the rear as well.
Which you can still plug into the side.
Yeah, you can plug in there and a wireless one comes with it as well.
So you got three options.
Yes, but yeah, this one here is fairly new. So I haven't had to use it yet, but it's definitely a little bit easier than having to set everything up.
Yeah.
Especially if you get into a tricky situation, you don't think of needing it.
What's this one for? Your lights?
So that's the compressor. So that just switches the relay on.
Right.
Once the relay's on, then you can control the compressor from the back if you need to as well. So yeah, make sure it doesn't draw anything while you're driving, that kind of thing. So it's got a brake controller here as well. And then on the other side here, we've just got spotlight switch and then the old school throttle.
Back when you were brake controller, do you tow?
We don't. The old owners did.
Okay.
So that's why that's there. They used to tow caravans, and I'm sure it's towed many things in its life. But yeah, it's useful that it's there. Very basic head unit there, and then very useless drink holders and a useless free box. So it's all right, very average, and suits the old car. So yeah, this is definitely one of the handiest things in the dash though. It's just made by cabin crew.
What is it?
It's just for a phone holder.
It's like one of those goat mount things, or?
Yeah, so it's just got a metal plate at the back there, and then it just clips straight on.
Like a magnet.
Yeah, and it works really well. Haven't had it falling off anywhere for driving.
Navigation.
Yeah, so we're running the HEMA HX1. We did buy a VMS before, which is the cheaper type of four-wheel drive GPS, and didn't like it whatsoever, so ended up spending a bit more and bought this one off Gumtree secondhand. It's been really well.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are they going for second-hand at Gumtree?
I think paid $400 for it.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
yeah, because they're pretty new as well.
Yeah, they are.
So what did you find that was bad about the VMS?
The VMS has a terrible lag. So like when you're touching the screen on this, you can move it around. There's noticeably no lag. The mapping system in this is very superior to the VMS one, I find. So you can do all the layers and stuff on this, whereas the VMS just has its own maps. In terms of actual tracks, I didn't really get to test that out much. So I didn't know if the VMS has any more tracks than this one.
Yeah. You find that the VMS will have a few tracks that the HEMA doesn't, but HEMA will have most tracks.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously HEMA has been around for ages and does have a really good...
And they're doing their own mapping and stuff.
They do their own mapping. They've got very good mapping when you come get brochures and that kind of thing too. So, yeah.
In a perfect world, one of each.
Yeah, in a perfect world. For now, this one here is doing everything. So, very basic. At the top, all POV pack, so nothing special. No electric windows. All we've done is upgraded speakers, and that's pretty much it.
Very nice, mate. I think it's time for some Q&A then.
Yeah, definitely.
The Mighty 60.
As known on Instagram.
Yep, on Instagram. Check it out, the Mighty 60. You obviously take some photos yourself?
Yeah. So I've been taking photography for the last 10 years or so now. So
Okay.
quite into it, and have always had the gear. Used to do a lot of surf photos and stuff. But having the car now, I kind of moved to a bit more landscape stuff.
So what do you mainly use the car for? Because you're obviously an avid surfer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use it to go to surfing spots?
I guess more for fun, so a lot of camping and stuff when we've got weekends off. That's pretty much what the car was made for, and we go down south quite a bit surfing and finding waves and that kind of stuff. So,
okay. Is that what got you into full driving?
Not really. No, a couple of my mates and stuff got me into four-wheel driving. I've always wanted to own four drives. Always been driving them with Dad and stuff when I was younger, and
Okay.
so yeah, always been there. But having your own one and kind of using it for what you want to do is the good bit. So,
what's the best thing you've done with it so far?
oh, that's hard. Central locking is definitely, I'd say, up there.
Okay.
So these didn't come out with central locking. It makes a big difference. But other than that, lift and tyres, the lift and tyres makes everything a bit more comfortable now than the old ones.
How do you find the leaf pack?
Yeah, in all honesty, it's not that bad, but yeah, you do like corrugations and stuff. Definitely isn't that good. Obviously having constant bumps and that kind of thing. So,
Best thing about the 60?
oh, I guess the looks. Yeah, you can't really sit in any other car and have lots of people look at you and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they are nice looking, really.
Yeah, they're very unique. No one drives them around anymore, so having one that's so clean. I've had people ask me if it's an old Patrol, and
Oh, really?
yeah, a couple of weird things like that because people don't really recognise the clean ones anymore. So
Okay.
yeah, although there's quite a few out there still.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
yeah, it's a weird one, but definitely that, I'd say.
and it's increasing in value too.
Yeah, which is weird. It's almost becoming an antique. Don't need an immobiliser on them anymore because they're over 25 years old. And
It's a funny thing, isn't it, when you get,
yeah,
you buy a car, you drive it out of the parking lot,
And-
it decreases straight away.
yeah. Now this is
Then it gets to a point where it's rock bottom, and then you give it another
Starts
10
going
years,
up
it
again.
starts, yeah.
yeah,
It's 30 years old this year,
yeah. This year, so April I think was when it was made. So yeah, almost its 30th birthday.
30th birthday.
Yeah.
Very nice. What is the worst thing about the 60 to you?
Definitely leaf packs. Like if it was coiled, it would be a lot more comfortable, a bit more enjoyable to drive. It still handles everything, and
What is the best mod you've done to it?
definitely the drawers, I'd say. Other than, yeah, obviously suspension and that kind of stuff, bar work. The drawers is a big help. Everything's organised and always there, so you have to be packing the car and it feels like you got a lot more space in there.
What's something you've had to do twice to this vehicle? Something you've learned from modifying this vehicle?
It's a good question. Definitely like stuff to do with the 2H, so getting the cooling and stuff right has been a bit like hit and miss.
Is there a lot of stuff from an 80 series that'll fit to a 60?
Yeah, so quite a bit of stuff. So with the drawers as well, so they're Titan drawers, they're 80 series drawers. A lot of stuff isn't made for 60s anymore.
Did you have to tweak it a bit? Or?
So with the 80 series ones, they fit straight in. You just have to touch the wheel wells out a little bit. Other than that, yeah, they go straight in. So it's just inserted in. Tap with a hammer, or you can use like a bottle jack or something to push it out a little bit to make it all even.
What can you advise people to look for when they buy a 60, and what have you had to change on the 60? I know that rust isn't an issue for you.
Yeah.
But rust will be one of the issues.
Yes.
Because this has been resprayed how long ago?
So respray was about 8 years ago, from what I've been told. Again, it's hard with information with such an old car, and yeah. So I think I'm about the 3rd or 4th owner, depending on the owners previous to that. So rust is definitely the biggest one. So if you've got any rust in there, it will start to eat pretty quickly, and if you've got any surface rust, you want to just start getting on top of it really quickly. Other than that, just your standard mechanical stuff. So obviously you got a 30-year-old driveline, so bearings and stuff like that. Engine, obviously, like mine's about to tick to 500,000.
But it has had a rebuild.
It has, from what I've been told, had a rebuild on the top end.
Mm.
Everything's running good, so no blow bar or anything like that.
What did you have before the 60?
I just had an SUV, it's a Honda CR-V. So
A bit of a
yeah,
change.
first proper four-wheel drive. So yeah, it's actually my second car. So driven around quite a bit in the Mrs. Sierra, and yeah, a couple of mates' cars and Dad's car used to take out a little bit for driving, but good to finally get a decent four drive.
I reckon this is a good car to start with.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a lot about it, mechanics.
Yeah,
And
well, that's the whole reason I bought the car. Was I was initially looking at an 80 series or possibly a 105 series.
so you went for a solid axle.
Yeah, decided to go for this because you do learn a lot of stuff. Like I've learned heaps about the engine, the driveline, and a bunch of stuff, fixing everything up and making sure it's all working. So I think that was a good thing for me to do that since I'm young and still learning. So yeah.
Next mod?
Oh, coming up? Definitely rock sliders, extended rock sliders, so we can get into the car a bit easier.
Because of the step?
More because of the step, yeah. Like I haven't had any issues hitting anything. I have been a bit chicken taking it to stuff where it might get hit.
Yeah.
So I guess putting that on would give you a bit more confidence, not breaking the car. And then yeah, definitely the next mod that we'll be aiming for this year is getting the engine all sorted. So bigger intercooler.
Okay.
Just to run it a bit smoother.
If money wasn't an issue, what would be the major mod you'd do to the car?
Oh, definitely.
Would you change the
coils.
motor to a 12?
Yeah,
HT?
yeah. 12 HT would be the big one. So you'd have a little bit less heat. The 2H isn't bad with the turbo though. Very similar, but obviously it would be better to get a factory turbo one. And yeah, if money wasn't the issue, I'd probably do that. Otherwise, maybe coils as well.
Okay.
Because a few people have coil converted theirs, which is a lot of effort and money, obviously.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Best trip you done on it?
We've done Carragini in it, which is a really good trip, but recently we just got back from Esperance. Other than the few dramas we had with the car, it was a really good trip. So,
What dramas did you have?
on the side of your engine block, you've got an oil cooler. The housing actually corroded out and blew a hole straight through. So ended up, thanks to a couple of my girlfriend's relatives, we ended up pulling the whole engine apart, getting the manifold off and that kind of thing to get there and fix it. So it was a 2-day job, but yeah, thankfully got it all sorted.
In the comments below, there'll be lots of questions about the 60. Are you ready to answer them?
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet,
So,
there you go.
yeah,
Ask away.
always happy to answer stuff on our Instagram as well. So we do get a lot of questions. Mostly the biggest question is, where do you get the solar screens from? So that's actually a company called Solar Screen that does them. So we'll answer that one straight off the bat.
Yeah, okay.
Because yeah, that does get asked quite a bit.
Thanks for bringing the 60 on, mate.
No worries.
There'll be a lot of pleased people
Yeah, definitely.
hanging for a 60. So if you want to know more, ask away down below. There is a web page for this. And the Mighty 60
on Instagram.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
Subscribe, patreon.com/RonnieDale. Cheers.